Off. Off. Center. Center. Non ho tempo da perdere. Off. Off.
spa resort developed by the Mosaic Company in Bowling Green, Florida on a 16,000-acre property near Hilton, Florida. The
Ciao.
resort includes a 228-room hotel and 3 golf courses built in the site of a former hospital strip mall. Fishing on various lakes and clay shooting are also offered. The courses are called red, blue, and black. Red is designed by Bill Core and Ben Crenshaw, blue by Tom Duck, and black by Bill Hudson. Golf Week magazine named Spoon Song the best new golf course in 2012 and put the courses amongst the top 40 public courses in the world in 2013. The site ranks the blue as 87th in the US and 5th in Florida. Carlton Estate is a historic site in Altoona, Florida, located at 302 East Bay Street. On October 3, 1991, it was added to the U.S. National Register of Historic Places. The Carlton House was built in 1885 by Albert and Martha Carlton. It was originally located in Hardy County. The house functioned as home to the Carltons and their 10 children. Their 8th child, Roy E. Carlton, who later became Florida's 25th governor from 1929 to 1933. It was later inhabited by William Albert Carlton, a 7th-generation member of the pioneering Carlton family of Florida citrus growers and ranchers, and his wife, Barbara.
Off. Off. Center. Center. Off.
Lake Okeechobee, also known as Florida's Inland Sea, is the largest freshwater lake in the state of Florida. It is the 8th largest natural freshwater lake among the 50 states of the United States and the 2nd largest natural freshwater lake contained entirely within the contiguous 48 states. Okeechobee covers 730 square miles and is exceptionally shallow for a lake of its size, with an average depth of only 9 feet. The Kissimmee River, located directly north of Lake Okeechobee, is the lake's primary source. The lake is divided between Glades, Okeechobee, Martin, Palm Beach, and Hendry counties. All 5 counties meet at one point near the center of the lake.
Off.
Country Club at Nassau is a large, gated community located in Palm Beach Gardens, Florida. The community, developed by Taylor Woodward, contains just under 1,200 homes and home sites on 2 championship golf courses along with natural preserves and lakes. Nassau is spread over 2,300 acres on property previously owned by the John D. and Catherine T. MacArthur Foundation. The two 18-hole golf courses located in the community were designed by Arthur Hills and Tom Farsley. The country club at Nassau hosted the PGA Tour's Honda Classic from 2003 to 2006, before moving in 2007 to the PGA National Golf Club, located across PGA Boulevard from Nassau and Palm Beach Gardens.
Off.
Mar-a-Lago is a resort and National Historic Landmark in Palm Beach, Florida, built from 1924 to 1927 by cereal company heirs and socialite Marjorie Merriweather Post. The 126-room, 62,500 square foot mansion contains the Mar-a-Lago Club, a members-only club with guest rooms, a spa, and other hotel-style amenities. It is located in Palm Beach County on the Palm Beach Barrier Island, with the Atlantic Ocean to the east and Florida's Intracoastal Waterway to the west. At the time of her death in 1973, Post bequeathed the property to the National Park Service, hoping it could be used for state visits or as a winter white house, but because the costs of maintaining the property exceeded the funds provided by Post, and it was difficult to secure the facility, the property was returned to the Post Foundation by an act of Congress in 1981. In 1985, Mar-a-Lago was purchased by Donald Trump at a price of around $10 million. His wife at the time, Ivana Trump, was charged with running the property. Trump retained Mar-a-Lago through both his divorces. His family maintained private quarters in a separate, closed-off area of the house and grounds. Trump has frequently visited there as President of the United States, referring to it as the Winter White House and his Southern White House. Mar-a-Lago has been used to host meetings for President Trump and international leaders, including Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe and Chinese President Xi Jinping. In September 2019, Mar-a-Lago became the primary residence for Donald and Melania Trump, who previously held primary residence in New York City. It is the second largest mansion in the state of Florida and the 22nd largest mansion in the United States. In 2018, Forbes estimated the value of the estate at around $160 million, having appreciated greatly throughout the past decades since Trump's purchase due to several factors such as the extensive renovation, lavish features and furniture, the exclusivity of the location, as well as its historic meaning and significance. Delray Beach Tennis Center is a tennis center in Delray Beach, Florida. Built in 1992, the stadium currently holds 8,200 spectators. It has hosted Fed Cup and Davis Cup matches. In 2006, the Palm Beach Phantoms indoor football team planned on playing there, which would have made the tennis center the first outdoor facility to host the normally indoor sporting event. However, no agreement was made with the team, which forced the Phantoms to play all of its games on the road. The team folded after the 2006 season with a record of 1-6. The Hillsborough Canal is located in the southeastern portion of Florida within the South Florida Water Management District, and for much of its length forms the border between Broward and Palm Beach counties. However, its western end was entirely in Palm Beach County, until being recently annexed to Broward County Parkland, Florida. It begins at Lake Okeechobee at the S2 water control structure in South Bay west of Belle Glade, Florida. It passes within the southern border of the Loxahatchee National Wildlife Refuge and flows southeast from there along Loxahatchee Road in a rural, lightly populated area. When it reaches the more heavily built-up region further east, it bends to head due eastward, forming the county line. Near its eastern end at the Intracoastal Waterway, with Boca Raton to the north and Deerfield Beach to the south, it departs from its straight course to go around several curves, but the county boundary continues to follow it at this point. 10 miles of the canal is navigable, and it is popular for recreational boating and fishing. Restoration of the Everglades efforts include treatment to remove elevated levels of nutrients. As a part of this restoration effort, Hillsborough Canal flow was diverted at the Loxahatchee Refuge in 2001 to a wetland stormwater treatment area, STA2, which discharges into Water Conservation Area 2. The Maikai is a Polynesian-themed restaurant and tiki bar located at 3599 North Federal Highway in Oakland Park, Florida. It opened to the public on December 28, 1956, and is one of the few grand Polynesian palaces of tiki still in operation today. In 2015, it was named the best tiki bar in the world by Kritiki, an organization of fans of Polynesian pop culture. It is the last restaurant/bar in existence carrying on the traditions of service and serving the original drink recipes of Don the Beachcomber, and has been listed on the National Register of Historic Places. Northwood Lawn Cemetery, an African-American cemetery located east of Interstate 95 near Sunrise Boulevard in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. It was added to the National Register of Historic Places on the 29th of November 2017. Founded in the 1920s, lynch victim was buried there in 1935. An area that may have been unmarked graves was built over in the construction of Interstate 95 in the 1970s. Another section of unmarked graves of infants may have been paved over in 1995. Burials no longer take place there. Maintained by the city of Fort Lauderdale, it was restored in 2002. The Miami Auto Museum at the Deezer Collection was a privately owned museum in North Miami, Florida, that exhibited automobiles and related memorabilia collected by Michael Deezer. It has closed and is being moved to Orlando, Florida, to be opened as the Orlando Auto Museum. The museum was housed in two large warehouse buildings, one for the Hollywood Collection, the other for the Classic Car Collection. The Hollywood Collection displayed cars and vehicles used in movies or by the stars, among them a collection of James Bond cars and Batman cars. The other collection showed classic American and European cars, microcars, military vehicles, motorcycles, scooters, bicycles, and various related memorabilia. The exhibition areas exceeded 250,000 square feet and was capable of displaying more than 1,000 vehicles. Cars included in the collection are the 1948 Ford from Greece, the 1959 Cadillac from Ghostbusters, the 1981 DeLorean from Back to the Future, an original Batmobile, the Land Rover from Skyfall, and a T-55 Soviet tank from GoldenEye. In 2011, the museum acquired the original Pursuit Special driven by Max Rokitansky in Mad Max and Mad Max 2. The collection was started by Michael Deezer, an Israeli-born real estate developer, after he got a Vespa scooter at the age of 16. The museum evolved from the holding place for his collection and was opened in 2012. It incorporated the cars at the Stars Motor Museum purchased from England. Jungle Island, formerly Parrot Jungle, is a relaunched eco-adventure park on Watson Island, Miami, Florida, United States. The park is reopened following a series of major renovations after the park incurred damage from Hurricane Irma. The park features new pop-up water slides, an outdoor wind tunnel flight experience, zip lines, escape rooms, a Nerf battle stadium and other attractions. Originally named Parrot Jungle, it was moved from its original suburban location in Pinecrest, Florida to its present location just east of downtown Miami, and after the site was purchased for Pinecrest Gardens in 2002. It was renamed as Parrot Jungle Island. In 2007, the park was again renamed to Jungle Island. The Vizcaya Museum and Gardens, previously known as Villa Vizcaya, is the former villa and estate of businessman James Deering, of the Deering-McCormick International Harvester Fortune, on Biscayne Bay in the present-day Coconut Grove neighborhood of Miami, Florida. The early 20th century Vizcaya estate also includes extensive Italian Renaissance gardens, native woodland landscape, and a historic village outbuildings compound. The landscape and architecture were influenced by Veneto and Tuscan Italian Renaissance models and designed in the Mediterranean Revival architecture style, with Baroque elements. F. Burrow Hoffman was the architect, Paul Chalfin was the design director, and Diego Suarez was the landscape architect. Miami-Dade County now owns the Vizcaya property as the Vizcaya Museum and Gardens, which is open to the public. The location is served by the Vizcaya station of the Miami Metro Rail. The Cape Florida Light is a lighthouse on Cape Florida at the south end of Key Biscayne in Miami-Dade County, Florida. Constructed in 1825, it guided mariners off the Florida Reef, which starts near Key Biscayne and extends southward a few miles offshore of the Florida Keys. It was operated by staff, with interruptions, until 1878, when it was replaced by the Foy Rocks Lighthouse. The lighthouse was put back into use in 1978 by the U.S. Coast Guard to mark the Florida Channel, the deepest natural channel into Biscayne Bay. They decommissioned it in 1990. Within the Bill Baggs Cape Florida State Park since 1966, the lighthouse was relit in 1996. It is owned and operated by the Florida Department of Environmental Protection. Crocodile Lake National Wildlife Refuge is part of the United States National Wildlife Refuge System, located in North Key Largo, less than 40 miles south of Miami off SR 905. The 6,686-acre refuge opened during the year of 1980 under the Land and Water Conservation Fund Act of 1965 and the Endangered Species Act of 1973. It was established in order to protect critical breeding and nesting habitat for the threatened American crocodile and other wildlife. This area also includes 650 acres of open water in and around the refuge. In addition to being one of only 3 breeding populations of the American crocodile, the refuge is home to tropical hardwood hammock, mangrove forest, and salt marsh. It is administered as part of the National Key Deer Refuge, which is also located in the Florida Keys. Jules Undersea Lodge is an American hotel located in Key Largo, Florida, and is the only underwater hotel in the United States. It is 30 feet deep on the ocean floor and guests have to scuba dive to get to their rooms. The hotel is located at the bottom of the and was opened in 1986. The hotel's name comes from the novelist Jules Verne, author of 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. Scuba certification is required for entrance as the front door is located 21 feet underwater. Jules has had over 10,000 overnight guests in its 30 years of operation. Today, many certified divers who are interested stay in the Jules Underwater Lodge, and some who meet the skill and bottom time requirements and participate in underwater experiments in the Marine Lab can elect to receive specialty diver recognition from PADI or NORD as a recreational aquanaut. This is the only recreational aquanaut qualification available worldwide. Today, aquanaut hotel guests must scuba dive to reach the facility, and a nearby land base offers diving lessons for people who are unfamiliar with the activity. Years ago, non-scuba diving guests were taken down to the lodge breathing air pumped down from the surface through a long hose similar to a garden hose, but this practice was discontinued and now all guests must scuba dive to the lodge entrance 5 fathoms below. The air hose system has been replaced by a hooker rig, featuring modern scuba regulator second stages, and is often used by guests and the operations crew to get back and forth to the lodge without donning scuba gear. Snake Creek Bridge is a bascule bridge in the village of Isla Mirada in the Florida Keys. The single-leaf bascule bridge carries the overseas highway over Snake Creek, connecting Plantation Key and Windley Key. It is located near mile marker 86. The bridge was completed in 1981 when a number of new bridges were being built to modernize the overseas highway. It is the third bridge that has existed at this location. The first bridge, which carried the overseas railroad, was built in the early 1900s. A second bridge built in the 1920s next to the railroad bridge carried the first overseas highway, though the highway would later be shifted to Railroad Bridge in the 1940s, which was retrofitted for automobile use. The Snake Creek Bridge is notable for being the only remaining drawbridge operating in the Florida Keys. It gained this distinction in the late 2000s, when the overseas highway's drawbridge over Jewfish Creek was replaced by the current Jewfish Creek Bridge in 2008, and the closure and abandonment of the Boot Key Harbor drawbridge in Marathon in 2009. Long Key State Park is a 965-acre Florida state park located on Long Key, one of the Florida Keys, in Monroe County, Florida, United States. It is at mile marker 67.5 on US 1-67400 Overseas Highway. Prehistoric coral reefs grew here over the course of millennia, when the sea level was over 20 feet deeper. The remnants came to form Long Key and the rest of the Florida Keys. By the early 20th century, Long Key became an important depot for the completed Key West extension of the Florida East Coast Railroad. The railroad's founder, Henry Flagler, also established the Long Key Fishing Camp, a resort that attracted the greatest saltwater fishermen from around the world. But it did not last for long, when in 1935, the Labor Day hurricane devastated the club, the railroad, and much of the Keys. The land that came to comprise the park was acquired between 1961 and 1973, with the official opening in 1969. The 7-mile bridge is a bridge in the Florida Keys, in Monroe County, Florida, United States. It connects Knights Key in the Middle Keys to Little Duck Key in the Lower Keys. Among the longest bridges in existence when it was built, it is part of the Overseas Highway in the Keys, which is part of the 2,369-mile U.S. Route 1. There are 2 bridges in this location. The modern bridge is open to vehicular traffic, the older one only to pedestrians and cyclists. The older bridge, originally known as the Knights Key Pigeon Key Moser Channel Passage Channel Bridge, was constructed from 1909 to 1912 under the direction of Henry Flagler and Clarence S. Coe as part of the Florida East Coast Railway's Key West Extension, also known as the Overseas Railroad. The Bahia Honda Rail Bridge is a derelict railroad bridge in the lower Florida Keys connecting Bahia Honda Key with Spanish Harbor Key. Originally part of the Overseas Railway, the state of Florida purchased it from the Florida East Coast Railway after the 1935 Labor Day hurricane and converted it for automobile use as part of the Overseas Highway in 1938. After a replacement Bahia Honda Bridge was opened in 1972, 2 spans of the old bridge were removed for the safety of boat traffic and to prevent pedestrian access to unsafe parts of the bridge.
Off.
The Florida Keys are a coral cay archipelago located off the southern coast of Florida, forming the southernmost part of the continental United States. They begin at the southeastern coast of the Florida Peninsula, about 15 miles south of Miami, and extend in a gentle arc south-southwest and then westward to Key West, the westernmost of the inhabited islands, and onto the uninhabited dry Tortugas. The islands lie along the Florida Straits, dividing the Atlantic Ocean to the east from the Gulf of Mexico to the northwest, and defining one edge of Florida Bay. At the nearest point, the southern part of Key West is just 90 miles from Cuba. The Florida Keys are between about 24.3 and 25.5 degrees north latitude. More than 95% of the land area lies in Monroe County, but a small portion extends northeast into Miami-Dade County, such as Totten Key. The total land area is 137.3 square miles. As of the 2010 census, the population was 73,090 with an average density of 532.34 per square mile, although much of the population is concentrated in a few areas of much higher density, such as the city of Key West, which has 32% of the entire population of the Keys. The U.S. Census population estimate for 2014 is 77,136. The city of Key West is the county seat of Monroe County. The county consists of a section on the mainland which is almost entirely in Everglades National Park, and the Keys Islands from Key Largo to the dry Tortugas. The U.S. Naval Station in Key West, Florida, United States is a historic district that was listed on the National Register of Historic Places in 1984. It is a 12-acre district roughly bounded by Whitehead, Eaton, and Caroline Streets. It included 23 structures built during 1845 to 1923, one built in 1942, 4 fresh water cisterns and 4 elevated storage tanks. The naval station included an area known as the Truman Annex, an area including officers' quarters and the Little White House where President Harry S. Truman occasionally vacationed.
Off.
Morro Castle, named after the three biblical magi, is a fortress guarding the entrance to Havana Bay in Havana, Cuba. The design was drawn up by the Italian engineer Battista Antonelli. Originally under the control of Spain, the fortress was captured by the British in 1762 and was returned to the Spanish under treaty terms a year later. The Morro Fortress in Havana shares its name with structures in Santiago de Cuba and the Castillo de San Felipe del Morro in San Juan, Puerto Rico. In this case, the Spanish Morro means a rock which is very visible from the sea and therefore serves as a navigational landmark. Perched on the promontory on the opposite side of the harbor from Old Havana, it can be viewed from miles around as it dominates the port entrance. Built initially in 1589 in response to raids on Havana Harbor, El Morro protected the mouth of the harbor with a chain being strung out across the water to the fort at La Punta.
Off. Off.
New Providence is the most populous island in the Bahamas. The island was originally under Spanish control following Christopher Columbus's discovery of the New World, but the Spanish government showed little interest in developing the island. The three branches of Bahamian government, the executive, the legislative, and the judiciary, are all headquartered on New Providence. New Providence functions as the main commercial hub of the Bahamas. It is also home to more than 400 banks and trust companies, and its hotels and port account for more than 2/3 of the 4 million plus tourists who visit the Bahamas annually. After 1670, Bermudian salt rakers gathering sea salt in Grand Turk and Inagua became regular visitors to the island. The first lasting European settlement was on Eleuthera in 1648, and then New Providence in 1666. The name New Providence Island is derived from a 16th century governor who gave thanks to divine providence for his survival after a shipwreck. The New was added later to distinguish it from Providencia off the Mosquito Coast, now Nicaragua, used by pirates. The pirate Thomas Barrow declared himself governor of New Providence after the island became a home base for pirates. After the American Revolution, several thousand loyalists and their slaves emigrated to New Providence and nearby islands, hoping to re-establish plantation agriculture. The shallow soils and sparse rainfall doomed this activity to failure. During the American Civil War, it was a highly popular port for blockade runners serving the Confederate States of America. By the late 1920s, New Providence had become well established as an American vacation destination with many tourist facilities, including a deepened harbor for short-visit cruise ship visitors and hotels offering gambling. During Prohibition, it was a smuggling center for distilled spirits.